Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AV the Hero. We live. Apologize, man, about the technical difficulties right there at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do something different and make sure this thing jumping off for y'all. But man, we about to get into this, and what I really want to start with, and what this video will majorly be about is my dog Lonzo Ball. All right. And I really want to commend him because I think that there's a piece of this thing that as folks try to have an opinion on this entire situation, and as they say, try to point fingers at who is to blame and who dropped the ball and who got something right and who got what wrong. I feel like they missing like this moment that Lonzo Ball is currently having, and the ability that he's and the fact that he's having this moment at such a young age currently, right? And I say that to say, if you really think about the Big Baller brand and where it's at now, even this, if you really take out obviously out with all of the foolishness and things that are happening now and all of the allegations, if you really think of all of the things that they have been able to accomplish, and you go back to when that started, right? The Big Baller brand started when Lonzo was in high school, Melo was in high school, Jello was in high school, right? When it started really taking off is when Lonzo was in college and at UCLA. Both of these times where if you really check Lonzo's bank account at those times, probably wasn't enough money in there to really start a company this size, right? So I will say that is one of the questions that I have that I think that people are overlooking when they start breaking down the percentages of who owns and what's in whose name. To me, is that like when the company started, Lonzo was probably, he's only 21 now, so he's probably 16 or 15. So the ideal that 51% of the company was in his name at that time is interesting to me, and makes me want to ask more questions when it comes to that, right? But I also think that what people don't realize is that with the company being what it was when he graduated UCLA, they were moving into that big old mansion. My dog had the big body Mercedes Benz and a lot of things. The warehouse, the merch was selling and all of that stuff. So somebody was putting up the cash for all of that stuff at that time. Which is why I think in this moment you see this, we letting the Big Baller brand go. We finna disband this thing, because I believe that in those times when they were growing, I think that there's a lot more power that Alan Foster must have had in all of those times that allows them to be in this moment where it's like, yeah, we could fight for this thing or we could just let it go. I think that people don't realize that it makes sense when you think about this NBA player and he got this check. Obviously, Lonzo, if you look at his bank account, look at his yearly salary is like $7 million in the NBA. But that probably started 2 years after the Big Baller brand had already been operating. So up to that point, somebody had to been funneling the cash into the business. So I will say, when I say I congratulate Lonzo for making this distinction now, is because if he was a majority shareholder at this point, it probably took place before his rookie season or sometime during his rookie season, right? And so when you look at it like that, you got a 19-year-old who is putting the finances and getting folks to look at his situation in a way where he can make a stand and say, you know what? I'm about to go do my own thing. I'm growing up and being my own man, as we seen him on this post that he had here. I'm my own man now, right? So I think to be able to do that at 21 years old or 20 years old says a lot about his character and his growth, because I believe that at some point he was not the guy pulling the strings, and I think that when you look at the what is it, when they break it down in that ESPN article, there's two people who has access to that money. It was Lonzo and Alan Foster, And so you see that now, and you're right. Somebody says here, Glenn Walker says he trusted his dad with that. I agree with you. He definitely trusted his dad with that. And then so at this point where he finally is in control, he immediately, months ago, realizes that something's not right, decides to take action, and we are here where we're at right now. To me, I think that says a lot about Lonzo Ball and the man that he's becoming. And I know that whenever he first got into the league, everybody talked so much about, stepping away from his family and all of this stuff. And I was a big proponent of saying, like, yo, that's kind of a crazy thing to ask a young 19, 18-year-old young man to do, is to not listen to his father anymore, right? And especially with somebody who has been guiding you and gotten you to a position that you are at today. So just to step away from him would be a lot to ask. So now, a year or so later, to have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, this brand that we've been creating and all of this stuff, maybe it's not the best thing for us. And I think that what you see is it was a great idea. And this is the thing, I've been watching a lot of commentary from the FS1, ESPN, the Skip Baylesses, and all of these stuff. And what I would say is that I was delighted that most of the black dudes, and I don't like to make the race thing, but most of the black dudes who spoke about it, I feel like they touched on it with the amount of compassion that I feel like real black people have about this situation and what it meant to see this black dad, this black business owners really step up to the forefront of it and try to challenge the status quo of the sports industry. An industry, especially when you talk about NBA, NFL, that is built with these athletes who majority are black, but when you look at the ownership and the people who own the money, who writing the checks, it don't reflect the same demographics. So to see these guys do that was a honor almost. And I think that what is disappointing, and I feel like a lot of people realize that, is that if it's ending like this, with these issues of that people are trying to misstrew as typical stereotypes, and making it about, oh, this dude was a criminal, he did this, he went to jail, and now you can't trust him anymore. Because when you look at second chances in the community, somebody says, second chances, AB. What's the dude, Jordan Belfort, Wolf on Wall Street, criminal, billions of dollars, stole it. People to this day are giving him their money right now. Second chance. If he came and said he had a great deal for you, second chance. They got the money for you, and they'll and they'll give him that opportunity. With Alan Foster, though, and this is another thing, I don't think that the relationship went from he left prison to running and operating the business. There was some other time in between that folks don't want to talk about. But so basically what I'm saying is I commend I commend Lonzo for his the way he's handling this situation now. I say all that to also say this. One of the biggest issues, and a lot of folks is they just need to fire Allen and then just dissolve his shares and do all of this stuff. But like I'm saying is, Lonzo is somebody who is taking over, who is exerting his power at this moment. Most of the time this company has been functioning, he has not been a person who has been in power like that. So when you think of all of the things that has been happening, where all of the cool things, that the Lamborghinis and all of the stuff that they had before a dime was made in the NBA, you got to think, where is that coming from? So I think that is what has caused so much friction, is that there is a lot of folks who are fighting over ownership of certain resources. And now, so the stuff that I'm talking about, some of it is just my personal speculation. Some of it is things that I've been hearing from folks who are close to the thing. So what I'm saying to you is that in the event that you have a company and there's two people who has just access to pull out whatever amount of dollars from the bank account, and now there's a dispute over monies in that bank account, what would you do if you were one of those people and the money was, you felt like you were entitled to it, and you know that there's somebody on the other end that you beefing with who also has access and is entitled to that money as well? You taking your money out of the bank account. I need my dollars. If I got a business with you and you got access to the bank account and I don't like you, I don't mess with you, I think you stealing shit, I'm getting my money up out of there. So I think that part of the reason why you see folks like, yo, we cutting ties, and some of the issues that's going to come out and be a problem as things go, is that there are people who probably need some money from the business, but you have people who have the money tied up with, actually, this is my money right now. And then other folks who saying, yo, this is my money right now. So I think that this is one of the things that I've been hearing, and folks are reaching out and saying like, yo, and this is what I said in my other video, my stream that I talked about the other day. One of the things that I think is going to happen in the short term is everybody who has ever did business and it didn't go great, or there was something, they going to come out and be like, yo, I'm just saying, like, I knew it was a problem. Or everybody who is still waiting on something and was just sitting cool and not really stressing over monies is coming out. And right now you're going to have people being like, you know, that money that you owe me, I was waiting on, I need the money right now. And when that happens, the people who will suffer are the folks who are doing the day-to-day work, who, when it's time to cut this check, it's one of those things where it's like, hold on a second, man, the money's not going to be there. And so I say all that to say, also to add, is that this coming weekend, you have the Big Baller Brand All-American game. And I don't know this for sure, but I can imagine that in between now and between then, there'll be a lot of things that transpire that will put the whether will create the question of whether or not the show should just go on anyway, right? You see right now with the Big Baller Brand and ZO2 and Lonzo, they've already taken down pictures and deleted posts and all types of different information. And I think that this is a huge event for the brand, right? The same brand that most of the folks who are associating with it are disassociating themselves with. So I think that it's a great opportunity, like a lot of things that they've done for the young men who were involved. The JBA, a great opportunity for the young men who were involved, the people who got to work on it, get some of that experience and all of that stuff. But I think that it'll be interesting to see who from behind the scenes still is able to show up and really make sure that event is top notch. If you go to Twitter right now, my dog Manny Alvarez, who was set to be a commentator or do whatever for the event, already said that he's not going to be a part of it anymore. So I would look for some more information to come out about that. And I would tell you, man, there's a lot of shady things, or I won't even call it shady, right? Because I will say there's some shady things, but there are also some things that would typically be standard business practices, but given the light of the situation and where everything is right now, is even more amplified. And like the clock is ticking of like, you know, typically you'd have 30 days to take care of this, but really we need this like right now type of stuff. You start to see things like on Twitter right now. I wish I should have had it all pulled up for y'all, but everybody who was at some point affiliated with these things, their background dirt is kind of being exposed throughout the time in Lithuania. A lot of those businesses over there are starting to say, you know what, we had this poor experience. So I believe that you all should stay tuned for that. And one of the crazy things that happened today is your boy DMO merch. Let me hit this up for y'all. Posted this. Your boy DMO. Actually, what's crazy too is it was here on this thing, but it's taken down at the moment. So let me hit this. This video where my dog DMO say hashtag dump your merch. This to me also points out that it is not a great situation right now in the big baller universe. And I am somebody who has, you know what I'm saying, been repping the brand and been ecstatic about it, and been somebody who has been a positive voice amongst a ton of negative voices about the brand. So it hurts to see like the people and the characters who have been so instrumental in making it what it is, folks, to then be at this point where they're saying, you know what, dump your merch, and he dumping ZO2s down the drain. Especially when, you know what I'm saying, Demo, you could have sent me them things and I would have, you know what I'm saying, hooped them and whatever. But there's been a lot of speculation, and this I think confirms that if he throwing the big baller brand sneakers down the dump, that he definitely is going to have to wear some shoes from a different company. So I would look to have some information come out in a short period of time that it probably is signing with a different brand altogether. So I see folks here got a lot of questions, so I'm gonna go through some of these questions, and I will say that there's a lot more information that I've been told that like I just don't want to be the dude who like exposing, like I'm gonna tell you all of the dirt and who said what, but I will, like, you know what I'm saying, share some of that stuff with you all as well. And also I will say that it's interesting that that post came from Demo, because his position and involvement is one that I'm being told has been one of the catalysts for these changes to be made at the moment. So I won't go into too much detail on that, but I feel like I will say that I think that some folks tried to wrongfully accuse him of things that he probably did not do, and because of that, forced folks' hand to kind of do what they need to do right now and making this stuff happen. Continue the great work. All right, so but let me get some shout outs right now, because we got a lot of y'all on right now. Glenn Walker, what it do? Kingsley Beats, what it do? Don Diego, what's happening? Glenn, Shanky, FT Child. There's a lot of folks. AB the Kid, 305, what it do? Hey, I like your name. DKM, what's happening, my guy? Brian Sanders, what's up? Brian Sanders got an interesting theory. Two, the story ain't adding up. Where's the money now? Keep that for later, though. We here for it. So I would say I think that one of the things that's crazy about like the money, like where is it at now? I feel like if you really been rocking with the channel for a while now, I've been talking about like what I know as the origins to the Big Baller brand, right? And this is stuff that I've been told by I think Alan, LeVar, and a few different people who like were there at the beginning and seen how the brand started to build and become what it is today. And literally was a brand that started with them printing t-shirts in the garage with like one of the neighbors, and this speaks to like LeVar and how dope he is as an individual, of like literally people in the neighborhood and fathers and parents and of kids who he used to train would come over and help them print shirts, and then they would give out shirts at basketball games. So everybody would be rocking this BB, not even BBB at that time, but just like ball shirts and stuff like that. And then it started to transition into like, how do we mass produce this? How do we do this? And then, so that's what I was saying, is that one of the things that the media doesn't talk about is that it wasn't like Alan met him and then they ended in business like right away. There was a period of time where Alan was handling business and doing his own thing internationally and here, and then they realized that they knew somebody who was a a businessman or somebody with some business acumen, and then they started to, you know what I mean, they brought him in to then take it to what it is to this day. And I think that while this money thing is a huge issue in the ideal of where is the money at now, I feel like you cannot forget that they have done a ton, right? It sucks. That's what makes it so sad, is that if this money thing is real and there's a true issue with that like it really shits on all of the work that they've been doing. Because if you really think of what the resources that they probably were using to do what they did, even like the idea of like the commentary, right? If y'all been following the channel, you know that with the JBA games, they brought me in to do some of the commentary, right? So you think about a brand that is as big as they are to be internationally known and global, but then also small enough to reach out to YouTubers with, at the time, I think my channel had like 5,000 subs or something like that, and be like, yo, we appreciate what you're doing. Can you come work with us, right? A brand that's small enough to give a ton of young men throughout the country opportunities to play basketball and continue to chase a dream that they have, right? Pierre says they pump faking my G. I would say, man, if they pump faking, that's a crazy pump fake, and I would definitely, if they pump faking, that means that they have a circle this big of people who that they keeping this pump fake in line with, and that they're lying to tons of people around them. And then also the people who are like being financially affected by this, who are not in that circle, in the Ball family, or who are not like, those people are lying too. And that's how I know that it's not a pump fake, is because there are people who I know personally who work with them who are currently being affected by the situation. That is like, that's the part that's not cool. Because at the end of the day, we all know Lonzo is straight. He played for the Los Angeles Lakers. LaMelo gonna be straight. He LaMelo, give him a year and he gonna be in the NBA all day, all night. Jello is gonna be straight. If he don't even play basketball, he's still on a reality TV show, and his brother is going to be signed by a major apparel company. As other both of them, you know what I mean? So all of those guys are going to be straight. It sucks when you lose $1.5 million for sure, but like when you have enough money where you're not really tripping and 6 or 8 months go by before you realize that that kind of money is gone, you tend to be able to bounce back from that. It's the other folks who, like, if you take $200 for them, you throwing off stuff because now I can't pay the rent. If you missing $500, stuff is wrong because I can't afford to pay a car note. Those are the people who I'm talking about who are affected. And to me, that, like, outside of the cultural significance of this and what it means for everybody, and like the vision that they of like the image that they were creating for all of the young folks in the world to be like, I'm coming up next, let me try to create my own brand and all of that stuff. And even when you talk to them, like the goal, the final, like what the goal or what they were shooting for, the fact that that can't be realized sucks too. But it's also like actual real people who are putting on events, traveling, doing pictures, video, all of that stuff, who are affected by, like, if this brand just decides to disband and end the way that it does. New company to get. I think that would be a move. Let's see. John Lopez said maybe they're going to open up a new company to get rid of Alan Foster. I think that would be dope. But I guess also what I'm realizing is that while they may start a new company, there are still business affairs that this old company has to take care of, and that'll be the thing of how they deal with that, and who's responsible for taking care of all of that stuff. They get sprains. Lonzo can't even finish. Let me see, man. So let me get it right. From FD Childish, from what I can tell, yes, it seems like they all are done with Big Baller Brand. And from what is being reported, even I think that Ramona Shelburne mentioned this, is that they're trying to just get rid of the Big Baller Brand. I've also been told that while they may be trying to end it, there are also parties who are trying to keep it alive as well. Let me see. I would say that. What's up, Brandon Stacy, JBA representative? How you doing, my guy? ZO2 merch line is actually quite nice. Here's the thing with the ZO2 merch line is that the ZO2 merch line and Big Baller Brand are not one and the same at all. The ZO2 merch line is a Lonzo Ball thing, and it was a line that was created with another company who helped kind of outsource and design some of that information. So the ZO2 line is not necessarily Big Baller Brand. That's why you see the ZO2 on it, and you don't see a ton of BBBs. He's rub Melon there with like LeVar's plan. This is what I'll say. I don't think that they didn't like the plan. I think that they all appreciated the plan and like they wanted to be a part of it. I just think that at some point it just became a lot, right? And in order to, let's see, because think about this, right? Everybody, I went to high school. I love college. I went to college as well, right? But if somebody would have told 15-year-old, 16-year-old Allen, AB the Hero, hey, I got this idea. We're going to try to make $1 billion, right? But you got to listen to me and do exactly what I said, right? And I started listening to them, and we had some success. We became hella famous. We started selling merch, and then we made millions of dollars. At that point, it is going to make me believe like, damn, we actually kind of close. Now let's go even further. I'm giving you even more free reign to just do whatever you want. And I think that that's what you end up seeing happening in this situation is that there was some success. There was folks who actually like, they did change the culture. So I think that everybody was on board. There were things that you then, if you're trying to get to $1 billion, right? And you're a company that only has like 3 or 4 like main characters, like there are things that you may not want to do that you end up having to do. Like for instance, like wearing the brand all the time. Like one of the things that I think you heard LeVar talk about one time is in like The Boys is that BBB is like basketball gear. So if you're trying to get super fresh and you got to get super fresh in your ZO2s, like that's counterproductive to if you look at Lonzo Ball in the NBA and you walk down and you know how it's damn near a fashion show when you enter the building. If the only shoes you got to wear is the same shoes that you about to go hoop on, you can see how that might make you a bit disgruntled, right? When everybody else is wearing their Balenciagas and they this and that stuff and they super fashionable kicks. So I'm sure that caused a bit of a rift, right? Damn, we don't want to wear this all the time, but if you're trying to get to $1 billion, that's what you got to do. Should have stayed in the LKL and brought his team a championship and led them to the EuroLeague. Hey, that would actually have been a dope scenario. But from what I seen earlier today is that the situation in Lithuania was stifled by other folks who started to kind of bad talk who created a separation in the locker room between the Ball family and the coaches and the folks within that organization for business interests is what is being revealed to be the issue nowadays. Kind of blown away 100. As always, I thought Allen was a little closer to family. I think that, man, everybody was close. Like it is a family situation, like literally brothers, like brothers. Let me see. Somebody said something about they're having the Ball family. Yeah, who do you think Facebook will have a problem with? I think the Ball in the Family show will probably continue, and I believe that maybe this situation will at some point be a talking point for the Ball in the Family show as well. I feel like what has been interesting is they have not really shied away from many conflicts. I think that whenever they put in there the bit about the players not getting money over the summer, I feel like to me that showed that they have a taste of authenticity. But from my experience, it is also a reality show like all reality shows where if you think about your favorite reality show, Love and Hip Hop or whatever, there are moments that are real and there are moments that are staged, right? And there are things that they want you to know, things that you don't know. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that show. But I'll tell you this. One of the things that I know also about the Ball in the Family show, and what's interesting about it is that Alan originally was not supposed to be on the show at all. Anyway, it's supposed to be a guy who's behind the scenes executive producer. But around the time they were working on that deal is when the mom got sick, Tina, and because she was sick, there was only LeVar and the three boys. And if you are familiar with the boys at that time, they were not talking, right? They wouldn't say anything. So if you got this show with, you got LeVar who's talking, and you got these three boys who you're trying to like get acclimated to reality TV, it was something that was probably not a good deal. So then they brought Alan in to be one of the other figures on the show. So that was how that all worked out. Ruthie Hewitt, what's up? I feel LeVar isn't getting enough support. Don't forget he got I think that's the real thing, man. I feel like LeVar, that's one of the saddest parts of the whole thing too, is when you think about LeVar in this situation. And I've actually heard well, I don't need to go there, but it's because like literally I've listened to him talk about his relationship with Alan, and I've listened to Alan talk about his relationship with LeVar, and literally they brothers. Like people keep saying like, oh, you just met him a couple years ago and you just but they were tight. Like and LeVar is one of them dudes who he extend his loyalty to you and you give it back. Like it's a bond there, you know what I'm saying? He's a good dude, but he also one of them dudes when you cross him, like you cross him as well. So it'd be interesting to see how that relationship continues to mend. And but I will say that despite all of this happening, it is a dope. I don't want to forget all of the dope things that they did as a brand, right? If these allegations are true with this money that's missing, that sucks and that's terrible. But like they still damn near conquered the world for a little bit. There are brands who've been out there much longer than they have, and what I would consider to be popularity and like a loyal fan base. I feel like they definitely surpassed that. You think about brands like obviously in China they're huge, like Li Ning. I heard one of the commentators today bring that up, Li Ning. But if you look at what Li Ning is in the United States as far as market share, and then what the Big Baller brand was in the United States as far as market share, they was out here making moves. Sports Inside Angle, what's up? Sports Inside Angle, if you go check his channel out, he got a video over there where last year around this time he was talking about how great a businessman my dog Alan was. So and a lot of people on his head about that, man, but check him out. Jay Morant is reported to return to college. I actually heard about that, man. I think that's a bad move. I know guys who, like, when I was in college, there was a dude on my team, and I went to Iowa State, and he had a game versus, I'm trying to remember his name at the moment. I just forgot it. But he had a game versus Kentucky Kansas, where he dropped like 40 on him. This was a Kansas team who was really good at the time. And then he returned for one more year, and his draft stock dropped down. But he returned to like boost this stock because he was thinking right now they're saying I'm gonna go first round. If I come back, I could be lottery. And then so he ended up leaving after a subpar year and then slipping to the second round. Whereas Ja Morant is damn near projected to be a second pick, so it's not too much further up he can go. I understand that he's supposedly making that decision though for another shot at an NCAA title, but I mean I say go buy him a ring. All right, let's see. I think it's the best. Lonzo join another brand outside Nike, Melo, stay prep school, go to a little join European team. I would say, man, I wouldn't be surprised if you find out sometime later on that LeBron James like has something to do with this whole situation, and it was a whole plot to get Lonzo with Nike. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an inside job. If Ja Morant returned, man, that's some crazy stuff. All right, but let's see. LeVar legit did things to prove people wrong, but had no plan. I think, honestly, man, they had a plan. I just think that if it ends now, it is short of where they intended to be. So, like, that's the sad part, is that the move was to build the business, add all of these different arms to it. You got water, you got apparel, shoes, you got all of these different things that they were going to do. And then you have this huge corporation, which is the big baller brand, Ball Sports Group. And then all of these subsidiary companies that you can package that up. And then you can go public with it, IPO. And so, like, was not a bad deal. And there was definitely a plan. It just sucks that, like, this whole situation may have thrown a wrench in that plan. And the truth is, it could be like what's his name, Pierre said, it could all be a ploy. It could be a tactic, man. They could have an elaborate scheme. They have done some things that are been like extremely smart. And they've done some things that are extremely smart. So I could see like them making using this as an opportunity to maybe transition power, right? So give LeVar an opportunity to not have to talk as much, Lonzo to step up into the forefront of the company, and then everybody else in it to just kind of fade away. And then maybe that makes them more streamlined and smarter to work. And then maybe this is an opportunity for them to like get the folks who don't like them to kind of get on board as well. Not with the team. But let's say, will the JBA still be running next season? I would say I can't imagine a situation right now where the JBA would still be jumping off. On account of, from what I am told, like, there are a lot of the people who like would potentially be involved with making that happen, especially overseas and even here, would be very reluctant at this point, given if things were to come out the way that they're coming out and things prove to be true, to like sign up to be a part of that whole thing one more time. ESPN has turned this into dad versus son. Yeah, but that's because ESPN is going to, you know what I'm saying, they're going to take the most salacious route possible anyway to create content around. It is one of the things that I'm surprised that I didn't hear a lot of on ESPN, and I feel like I heard it from a few folks, but not everybody. I didn't hear the "we told you so" as much as I expected them to say, right? When folks I heard a lot of people actually acknowledge some of the things they had done and like acknowledge how crazy the situation is, but also like, you know, point out that like it is, and then also point out that they're proud of Lonzo for stepping up. But I was surprised that you didn't have a lot of folks saying, "We told you a long time ago you should have got rid of your dad." James Lee say, "AB, you're tripping again." How am I tripping? No, this is sabotage. If they will burn Black Wall Street, kill Black Panther, they have stopped many black businesses. What the plan? Lonzo is being played. That could possibly be true as well. That could possibly, this is the thing. I said this on my last stream. Is one of the things that this year has taught me, as far as especially hanging out with them and being cool with them, is that conspiracies are real. Like, there are folks who like will, and even if you look at the Colin Kaepernick thing, collusion is real. They will put you in a box. You have your own individual right to make decisions and like not go along with the system, right? But the system is so big at times that there's so many layers to it, where you think that you can just go around one step, and then the people on top have a door, and the gatekeepers are saying, you missed a layer there, and you need to go back and redo some things, which is what I think was, to me, what I think Melo going back to high school signified, is that he is of the talent where he should just end up in the NBA regardless of whatever route he takes. But I think that there has to be some external force saying, actually, you need to go back that way, or this shit over here is not real. It's not going to happen. Fear Max says, how did nobody notice about him? I don't believe that nobody knew that. I feel like people knew it, but like, this is also the thing, right? In the black community, man, you know somebody who went to jail. Like, in America, you're damn near not an American, and you don't know somebody who been locked up before, right? So the ideal of like, because he got some type of pass, like you're not gonna give him an opportunity, then I think that like this is not what we're used to. Especially, you gotta look at when the whole Big Baller brand started. They didn't start with Lonzo Ball as a Laker. The Big Baller brand started with Lonzo Ball as a high school student. So there's a much different caliber of like folks who you're going to hire to do certain things when you have a salary by the Lakers than when you are a high school student, right? So legally, if they would have went out and got if he's in high school and they go out and get Steve Jobs, or you know what I'm saying, to come run the company, people are gonna ask questions. And so when you got your dad's homeboy who has some business acumen, who says, you know what, I can do this thing for y'all, and shows you some results, maybe puts up some money, then I feel like you give that person a shot, an opportunity. Something that little fishy, that there's no record online. I think this whole thing is just a push for more Ball and family. I doubt that. That sound like a crazy push for Ball in the family publicity. Like that sound like that's wild. Like, Ball in the Family is dope, but that it's a Facebook show. If they want you to see the show more, all they have to do is target you, and they can make sure 1 million people see an episode just that way. You could do that right now on Facebook. If you go put enough money on your Facebook account where you and you can make enough people see it. So I don't think it's a Ball in the Family ploy, especially on the count that Ball in the Family is like taped maybe a month or two before it airs, so they would be making content for like 2 months from now, and that just wouldn't be worth it, especially when you got Melo, they got a Big Baller brand All-American game. He about to go to college. Jello about to go do something, G League, international, or somewhere. They've got a lot of content to do, so hyping it up with a fake criminal record is seems like overkill. Kevin Garnett lost $77 million. Did they publicize that like this? Absolutely not. I will say, I think that part of the reason why this is being publicized so much is because this is an opportunity to like put LeVar and the Big Baller brand folks in their place. Oh, y'all thought y'all was gonna do what? Oh, no. Now we're gonna bring this to the forefront. And also, I think that it's so crazy to me because if you really knew how much money they have coming through there, like it does say something that this amount of money makes it seem like something is going wrong. Sort of a it could be a rebranding scheme, is what I said. I doubt Melo goes to college. Melo and Jello and LKL would be great, as they would be the faces of the league and get the team. They could do it, man, but they would need somebody to just let them hoop and not play at 60 points a game pace to fake something like I think so as well. Fake a criminal record. I don't know, but folks, man, I'm gonna hop off here. So if y'all got any final questions and all of that stuff, man, let me know and we'll wrap this video up like that. Also, man, I think that what I'm going to do is I'm gonna maybe chop this up into like little smaller parts or something, just so you know it's a little bit more digestible for most folks who gonna tune in. But it's a whole interesting thing, man. So it'll be crazy to watch this whole thing unfold the way that it is going to. What the blonde hair have? A player make a band, separate yourself from the brand within 2 years. Doo doo. Jello, China would be a different. Jello didn't steal in China to be. See, even alright. So I'll talk about that real quick. What's interesting about that is that if you really talk to folks within the brand, that ended up being what they would consider a blessing because it opened up the door for a lot of business. Jello stealing in China is directly affects the fact that now there's Big Baller Brand water. Like Jello stealing in China directly affects the fact that there was a JBA or JBA USA. A lot of the things that they did ended up happening were ideas that were created once they were trying to figure out how do we get Jello in the best situation as possible. So I'll be live again, man. Make sure you hit that bell though so I can, you know what I'm saying, so we can do it. And I'll probably post some videos because what I want to do is go through some of the clips from major media sources talking about this situation and kind of go back and forth with that. Brandon Stacy out here talking saucy, man. I'm from Denmark. I know you visited. What do you think about the country, man? I mess with Denmark heavy, man. We're out in the Svendborg, so it wasn't like Copenhagen or anything, but Svendborg was dope, man. I had a great time, met some cool people. Small city, but the burgers, man, is one of the best burger places I ever ate. Burger Mania in Svendborg, Denmark. That's a little fishy. All right, let me see. Did anyone else notice how far they sat down with them? He wanted to jump on the deal there and then. It'll be interesting to see what pans out with that Kanye West relationship because you know, he was definitely super interested in working with the Big Baller Brand and also working with folks who work in the Big Baller Brand. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start to see them if something goes down, maybe silently. Well, I guess I would be surprised if you did see it. I can imagine that some things will still happen between them, but you won't be able to say it. It's sad as what we keep losing because we don't know how to be harsh. Facts. I'm out. All right, peace out, my guy. Player, he need to improve his skills as a crossover and jump shot. Just imagine paying $4.95 on the Lonzo shoes and his manager saying dumped him. He basically saying the whole brand. You know what's funny is somebody on one of my posts was like, I just bought the shoes 2 weeks ago. Now I'm finna dump them. I think that they coming out and saying that because obviously You have you got this situation where there may be folks benefiting still from the brand that you are distancing yourself from. So you need to come out and be like, yo, don't rock with it no more. Let me see, man. I get some shout outs. Let me see this. Here we go. Is that, can y'all see that? My dog here, Joel Valdez, say, I just literally bought ZO2s in a sweater last week. Upset, man. That shit hurts, man. It hurts my heart, man, that all of this is transpiring at the moment. But you know what they say, man. Life must go on. That was emotional and dumb. Let me see. I feel like for this to be an occurrence, that there is definitely more happening behind the scenes than like a lot of people know. And I think that there are certain things that I've heard about that are happening behind the scenes that like I don't think that I would share at this moment, but I can believe that some of that stuff, definitely this makes me believe that a lot of that stuff is potentially true. So I mean, it was wrong for putting it in trash. Lonzo should keep the BBB, just get rid of him. What you think, AB? I think if they could do that, I don't know. It's hard. That's what I'm saying. It's like that sounds like but it's easier said than done. When you're looking at a company, you're thinking think about this. Companies, one of the things that people know is that most new businesses don't like turn a profit until X amount of years, right? So what that means is that you're lucky if you can break even, but honestly, most businesses like operate at a loss for a while until they can, generate X amount of dollars. So before that, it would make sense for Lonzo to just be like, I'm taking the company. You would need to see what type of debt that may be out there, right? And if you think about if I'm somebody who will slap my mama, then you think that I wouldn't slap somebody else, right? So if I'm somebody who would go in your pockets and take your last five, you're probably not the only person who pockets I done stepped in and took their last five from. So I think that it would be extremely smart of them to figure out how many other people maybe owe $5 or done got slapped before you decide, like, you know what, I'm just going to take this over. Because one of the big things about this is that the brand value is tarnished a bit right now at this moment with all of these allegations that are going on. And I feel like if he was going to just take the company over, he definitely should not have done a whole op-ed with ESPN or a whole like that. All of that information would have been way too much to give out just to like rebrand or like to take the company over. I had to go dumpster diving and make bank for sure. Somebody about to come up off them shoes. Yeah, something deeper than Allen's involvement. Exactly. Something much deeper. Save them in value might come up if Lonzo gets a ring. Yeah, let me see. Actually, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to put these. That shit is raunchy, man. So, I don't know, man. That shit. What does it mean for your content? Are you going to do you know what, man? I typically do a lot of non-BBB content, or at least I was just in the last year. Honestly, the issue is I've been traveling with them. So, like, it kind of threw off my rhythm as far as what content I want to make. And then also I've been doing a lot of freelance work, you know what I'm saying, creating videos for other people. So for me, like, it slowed down my content, but I feel like this whole story and all of this stuff that's happening now has really put me in a space where I've been like, damn, like, I actually want to really talk about this. And it's something that like takes me back to like why I started covering kind of big baller brand JBA type of content is that I wanted to like add some perspective to it. Like, I know that you're gonna get a ton of videos of people saying this person is this person is terrible, this person is that, and like I want to just add a voice to the conversation that is not so like everybody, this person is dead wrong, this person stole the money, he a you know what I mean? And so I like, this is interesting for me to talk about because of that. So have you on my podcast soon. Hey man, let's do it, man. Oh, somebody, actually I need to reach out to, it's a couple of people who just asked me to do that as well. But man, let's we can set it up. Hit my email, man. Let me see here. And let me know. Brandon Stacy, man, what's up with you? How you doing, my guy? World of his future, he needs to release a presser and get a second chance. Kill the commentary of the games. You were very far entertaining, and names and swag you carried was dope as fuck. Real talk. You know what, man? I appreciate that, because I was definitely trying to I was definitely trying to add some flair to those games, man. And I was definitely proud of that stuff. Watch you for a while, respect you and your professionalism. I appreciate that, Coach AJ. Most professional statement to come out regarding all this is by Lonzo's agent. That's how you handle not Instagram stories and subliminal messages by deleting photos. I think, man, one of the things that I'll say, somebody said this to me the other day, is it's interesting of like, you know, LeBron, he's the king of the subtweet and the Instagram story and all of that stuff. So that's also one of the reasons why somebody was saying maybe LeBron has some influence on this, because that was kind of some of the stuff that he would do. And you get an interview with Alan LeVar or Lonzo to get their side of the story. Here's the thing. I believe that if I would be surprised if anybody came out and did an interview about this situation. I think that those little bitty statements were about as much as you can get from anybody, and I think that whenever or if ever an interview comes out, it's going to be so much shade that it's crazy. And it's going to be because somebody just threw on so much shade that the other folks felt like they had to speak up. Be fire. I hope that they just rebrand and go forward. People yelling sound with Nike are a trip. Why go from entrepreneur to employee? I think that's the... Alright, so I feel like what makes the sign... Alright, I've said this before, and I know that, so I'll say this again. When you talk to the folks within the big baller brand at the top, right? You've always heard LeVar is in control of basketball and business and basketball and everything that happens on the court and the boys and stuff like that. But then the business side, the brand and all of that is controlled by Allen. So like, in order for them to continue to operate, if they were going to do this by themselves, you would have to trust that their business acumen was increased by a lot over the past couple of years. But part of the issue, and that they happened, and it was kind of talked about in that article, is that even when folks were like, yo, check out the numbers, here go this email, folks didn't even look at it. You know what I mean? So that speaks to like the involvement that they had in the numbers. So like, to think that as big as this company is and all of the arms that they have going, that Lonzo would just jump in and be the CEO tomorrow would be a lot to ask from him, unless he was like hands-on with the shit from the jump. But we also know that he's been a Laker, so hands-on from the jump is probably not a question. Heard that much sauce from a commentator since like N1 mixtape. And he was in charge of the desserts. LeVar was floating on a cloud, just letting things happen around him. There was actually an interview already today on Mason Harlan show. Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. It'll be folks around it like that will definitely be doing interviews, but not from people in the inner circle. I think Rich Paul will act like that. Rich Paul is an agent. DMO is Lonzo's manager. So I think Rich Paul would definitely throw some shit away as well. Website's still up. Website's still up though. What was said in that interview that you said you heard today? The thing with press releases are somebody write those. Like nobody most folks don't really write their own press release. So they could drop a press release tomorrow, but it'll be from somebody else. Interview already. Mason in Ireland show 7 a.m. Jello needs to get overseas. LeVar was trying to help kids as well. Stop it. He was trying to help kids, man. She actually made a tell-all book already. It's out. Damn. Sniper needs a chance. He do. All we can do is wait to see from now. That's a fact. All you can do at this moment is wait and see. And I think that what's going to come out is going to be... I feel like for me, man, y'all know I rocks with the movement and the brand, man. And if a chick came out with a book today, it's straight set up. Yeah, if a chick came out with a book today, I definitely would be interested to this would make me look a little bit harder to see if who's pulling strings and what all is potentially happening, because that do sound a whole lot of shady.
I think it's just getting good.
Oh damn. But yeah, man, I'm gonna hop off here and I'm gonna let y'all go, man. I appreciate y'all stopping by, man. All of y'all. It's been real. And it's your main man, AB the Hero. We out.